Stop asking sellers about the condition of the property. It doesn't matter. You're overcomplicating the sale process and it's hurting your ability to get deals. Now, I've been getting amazing deals from sellers and agents for 20 years now. And on this video, I'm going to share with you one aspect of my acquisition process that I teach my students that if you grasp and follow will allow you to instantly close more deals. And that's to remove asking sellers about the condition of the property from your sales process. But first, if you're new here, my name is Jerry Norton. I make millions of dollars a year wholesaling and flipping houses. And here on my YouTube channel, I show you how to do the same. So if you want to be a flipping genius like me and live your dream life, subscribe to my channel and watch my videos. In the wholesale industry, we refer to someone good at securing profitable deals as a closer. Becoming a good closer is both an art and a science. On this video, I'm going to help you grasp both. First, I need you to understand the bigger picture, then we'll get down into the weeds and break down the tactics. As a wholesaler, what is the result of talking to a seller or an agent about a distressed property? What outcome are you hoping to accomplish? The answer is to secure a contract at a discounted price that you can wholesale for a profit. In fact, not only does the deal need to be low enough that a cash buyer can buy it and have room to make money, but it needs to be even lower so you can make a profit wholesaling it to that cash buyer. Think about it. Let's say that you're looking at a deal and the after repair value or ARV is $200,000 and it needs $40,000 to fix it up. Well, for that to be a deal for a flipper, he would want to buy it for, let's say, $100,000. That way he has room to fix it up and flip it and make money. The price a cash buyer is willing to pay is called the wholesale exit price. Well, if the exit price is $100,000, you as the wholesaler need to get it even lower for, let's say, $85,000 so you can wholesale it for a $15,000 fee. Well, here's the thing. The only way to get a deal with an ARV of $200,000 for $85,000 is if the seller is really motivated and would rather have the speed and convenience of a cash offer rather than waiting and doing more work to get a higher price. So here's what you need to understand. Motivated sellers, as I just explained it, only account for about 5 to maybe 10% of the market at any given time. The other 90 to 95% are not motivated and are not willing to sell at a wholesale price. That means your goal as a wholesaler is to find the 5 to 10% of sellers that are motivated. Now, given that context, once you strip it down to its core, the first and biggest and really only objective or purpose of talking to a seller or an agent is to uncover motivation. Let me repeat that. Your job, first and foremost as a wholesaler, is to find and uncover an already motivated seller. Your job is not to create a motivated seller or convince a seller to be motivated. So where does the condition of the property come into play? Where is it important to find out the condition? The only reason why we find out the condition is to determine the cost of repairs. And the only reason why we need to know the cost of repairs is to determine an accurate buy price. Well, getting to an accurate buy price is only necessary if and only after you've identified a motivated seller in the first place. If the seller isn't motivated, then finding out how old the roof is or any other thing about the condition doesn't matter and is a waste of time. So why do wholesalers always ask sellers about the condition? They make that mistake for two reasons. First, they lack a sales process and don't know how to close, so asking about the condition is an easy escape for not knowing what to do. And second, they think that their offer needs to be accurate. But listen, there is a huge difference between your offer and your buy price. Yes, your eventual buy price on the contract needs to be accurate, or at least somewhat accurate, but your offer doesn't have to be accurate at all. It only needs to be low enough to uncover motivation. Write this down. The reason why you make an offer is not to get a deal. The reason for making an offer is to uncover motivation. If and only if you've uncovered motivation, should you move to phase 2, which is getting an accurate number, including ARV and cost of repairs. Now, to illustrate this point, let's look at a typical scenario. You're on the phone with the seller, and when you ask about what price he wants for a fast and convenient cash offer, he says $150,000, which is the value he saw on Zillow. Now at this point, you don't know what the ARV is or repairs. You have no idea what an accurate buy price would be without a bunch of time and effort. All you know is $150,000 is the current market value and is way too high for it to be a deal. Now here's the thing, just because the seller gave you the Zillow value for his sale price doesn't mean he's not motivated, and it doesn't mean he won't sell it for much lower. Price is often what we call a deceiver. Maybe he's motivated, maybe he's not. You still need to uncover that. One of the steps in my sale process that I teach my fast track students is what I call BRT. BRT stands for Build a Relationship of Trust. Here's the gist of BRT. A motivated seller is more interested in certainty than price. They care more about your ability to solve their problem than they do about getting a higher number. Once you properly create trust and follow the other steps in my unique selling process, can you uncover the seller's true motivation? But at the end of the day, assuming you've established trust, the only real way to discover motivation is to put a low offer in front of a seller and see what he or she does. If the seller responds favorably, then you know he or she is motivated. If he or she holds firm at a high price, then you know they are not motivated, at least for a low cash offer. That's why your low offer doesn't need to be accurate. It only needs to be low enough. I call this initial low offer the anchor price. The anchor price has to be three things. First, it's not an actual offer. It's a ballpark or a range. You would say something like, I need to be around 100,000, or I need to be in the low 200s. Second, it has to be low enough that if it were miraculously accepted, it would be a slam dunk grand slam deal. And third, it has to solicit a no. Remember, it's an anchor to establish a floor or the bottom. The point is that it's so low that the seller will almost always say no. And when the seller says there's no way I can go down that low, you respond with, yeah, that's my number in a perfect world, but how close to that number can you get? Now, at that moment, if you did BRT right, you'll uncover motivation. If their response is anywhere near a deal, move to phase 2 and by all means find out about the condition and do more of a detailed analysis and get to an accurate buy price. Why? Because you've uncovered motivation and now it's a good use of time. I recently did a deal where the seller originally said he wanted $240,000 and we ended up getting the deal for $100,000 and wholesaled it for a $40,000 profit. Now, if a light bulb moment went off in your head watching this video, leave a comment and say, Jerry, that is brilliant. You are a flipping genius. Now, side note about talking to sellers or agents about the condition. If you watch any of my live calls here on my channel, you'll notice that sometimes I talk about condition, but only if it's helping me discover motivation. For example, I have a deal right now where there are code violations from the city that are accumulating at $200 per day until the issues are resolved. So I talk to the seller about what needs fixed, not because it matters how much it will cost, but rather to understand the seller's pain so I can accentuate how big the issue is and focus on how I can solve the problem for her. See the difference? Now you might be wondering right now, how do I determine the anchor price? That's a great question. I created a calculator that will automatically determine the as-is value of the property and then instantly tell you the offer price. Now this calculator is a game changer because it doesn't require comping or estimating repairs, and I'll give it to you for free. Just go to freeoffercalculator.com for the free download. I also have scripts for talking to sellers and agents that I'll give to you for free. I'll put the download links to those scripts in the description below for you. And finally, watch this next video where I listen to a recorded call with a seller from my fast track student, Stephen Reel. Now on this call with a pre-foreclosure seller, Stephen asks about the condition. Then I coach him and give him feedback on what to say and do instead. Now that video will really drive home the lessons I taught on this video, so watch that now and I'll see you on the next video.